There we go. Okay, so when we take a look at this, grab my good pen. Today's date, October 11th, Octobre 11. Our objective today is called Translations of Linear Functions. Fancy word. Write that down, and I'm going to use English for you in a moment, okay? But that's what it's called in math. The math language is called Translations of Linear Functions. Well, translations, when you see the word translate, it just means to move it. Just to move a graph. And linear, we know if it's linear, it's going to be a straight line. And if it's a function, then it's got to pass that vertical line test, right? So if it's function, we know that, every x has exactly one y. Every x has only one y. So you're going to hear me talk about this y equals mx plus b quite a bit, and you're going to use this, oh gosh, all the way up through calculus and beyond if you go that far. Y equals mx plus b helps us graph a straight line. So we know it's a straight line. What we learned on Friday is that m is the slope, which is a rise over run. So it's going upstairs. Up and over, up and over, up and over, up and over, and the line goes on forever. So a slope, up and over, up and over, up and over, right? All upstairs, or if it's negative, it's down and over, down and over, down and over. So that's the slope. And this value b, you can call it the starting point, but it's really called the Y-intercept, okay? Some kids like to call it the starting point, but I like to call it the Y-intercept. So every type of graph we graph has its most basic, and then we do things with it, has its most basic shape. And we call that the parent function. The parent function is the most basic, and this is the parent function of any linear equation, okay? F of x equals fx equals x. Or if fx bothers you, y equals x, same thing, okay? Same thing. Y and fx for us are the same thing, okay? So when you see f of x, just think, okay, Mercedes really means y. Get that? Well, if I'm going to graph the parent function, there's some invisible numbers that would be helpful, because I really like this y equals mx plus b. So an invisible number on this one would be plus 0, right? So this graph, the parent function is going to start at 0. And then it's going to have a slope of up 1 over 1, right? Because those are, again, visible numbers. So it's going to be, so when I graph y equals x, it's just up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, or even backwards, down 1, back 1. And this is our basic, most basic linear function. That's why we call it a parent function. This is my parent function. It is the most basic function. Then we change it. We take this shape, this line, and we change it, okay? So let's change it. So let's graph this one. So we are going to start at positive 4. That's our start. On the y-axis, because it's a y-intercept. So I'll start at 1, 2, 3, 4. And my slope is down 1 over 3. My slope is down 1 over 3, down over 3. So I'll start at 4, down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3. And here's my new line. So what I did is I changed my line. What did I do? Well, the words I just gave you, I did a couple of things. One, what I did was I did a vertical shift of 4, right? I took the whole graph up 4. See, here's my green graph. It's up 4. See that? Green graph's here. First thing I did is brought it 4. And then I made it 1/3 as tall. So I did a vertical shrink. It's down 1/3. So then I also did a vertical shrink of 1/3 because 1/3 is tall. And then by making the x negative, I just rotated over the y. So then I also did a reflection over the y-axis. Okay? Again, don't let this stuff bother you. I don't need you to be perfect at this yet. This is the kind of stuff that we're going to continue to learn over the next 3 years, okay? But we started here, okay? Okay, example 2. Am I going too fast? Thumbs up on example 1. Okay, example 2. Well, first of all, let's graph this one. So, tell me, how do I graph this line? How do I graph f of x? Grace, go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, and then? And then what do I do? Up 2, 1, 2, and over 3. Awesome. And let's keep doing it up 2 over 3. It's like going up the stairs. Nice job. That's totally right. That is the most important thing I want you to know is how to graph these lines, okay? Thumbs up on that, right? So this next part tells me to do something. What do I have to do? Let's see. It tells me that what I want to do is I'm going to move it up 2. So this is a +2. So I'll do that one in brown, different colors. So I'm going to move it up 2. So we're just going to move up 2. I can do that. That's easy. Just take the whole graph up 2. And that equation would be y equals a 2/3 x minus 2, right? So I just took my graph and moved it up 2. Easy, right? Because of the +2 here. This is going to say, remember me doing my silly little dance? This is my silly little dance. I'm going to move it to the right 3. So I'm going to take this graph and move it to the right 3. So I'll take this point right here and I'll move it to the right 3, which is going to put it over here. Okay. So I'll do that one in a different color. See, I'll do that one in green. Where's my green? Okay. So I'll do this one in green. Actually, I'll move this to the right 3 because I get more room. 1, 2, 3. And there's that one. Okay. And the new equation of that one really is y equals a 2/3 x minus 6. Okay, example 3. Am I going too fast? Am I okay? My most important thing is this. Can you first, because I'm not worried about the translations yet, can you graph this? That's what I'm concerned with, okay? So how do I graph this line? Tell me, how do I graph this line? Somebody besides Grace. Yeah, go ahead, Tava.
Start at -2.
On the y-axis, awesome, yes, and then?
Move
Up 3.
up 3 over 4.
That's it. Up 3 over 4. Up 3 over 4. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's my line. That is the most important thing. But I'm going to show you the translations. The most important thing for me is that you can graph this line. Okay. Now, if you have a negative f of x, we saw in our journal that's going to be a reflection over the x. So negative f of x is to reflect over x axis. Okay, let's see if I can do that. I'm going to fold, see if you guys can see it. I'm going to fold this whole line like that. I'm going to take it, I'm going to fold it over the x-axis, okay? So it would probably look like this. Everybody looking, this point right here would be there, wouldn't it? This point right here would be there. Can you see it? And I would just graph it in. That's my negative f of x. And the equation of that one would be y equals a negative 3/4 x plus 2. Now the other one, with the negative on the inside, we saw in our journal that f of negative x is a reflection. Oh, I want to use a different color. My bad. let's use, what color do I have here? Oh, I got blue. Here you go. Use reflection. From our journal, it said it's a reflection over the y-axis. Okay, so here's my original red one, right? There's my original graph. Okay, so I'm going to take, if you're looking, I'm going to take this point. See this point right here? Everybody looking? And I'm going to bring it over here. Take this point right here. And bring it over here. Okay, so it's going to go over. 1, 2, 3. And this graph just stays where it's at, because if you reflect it over the y, it's on it. And there's my line. That equation is a y equals down 3 over 4x minus 2. Again, if this is confusing, give me 3 years, okay? Give me 3 years so that you're okay, Mr. Davies. Now, but the main thing is, can you graph these lines? That's what I really want more than anything. Can you graph these lines? Okay, let's turn the page. All right. So, can you graph this line? Well, yeah, I actually want to do it in red. Let's keep my colors coordinate. Okay. Can you graph this line? Can you graph this line right here? Where do we start? Yes, Artie.
-4.
On the y, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. On the y. It's called the y-axis. Good. Everybody agree with that? Thumbs up. Don't start on this line. This is not my starting line. This is my starting line. And then you line up and you go, boom, okay? Don't start here, okay? And then, what's our slope? What's our slope? 2, but I need a rise over run. Rise over run. What's our slope? How do you make 2 into a fraction? You have to have a fraction. You need a fraction. How do you make that into a fraction? Yeah, Grace? 2 over 1. So I'm going to start where Artie said at -4. And then I'm going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, because that's my slope. There's a ruler around here somewhere. There's my ruler. All right, there it is. Okay. Now, this means make it 3 times as tall. Okay, well, one thing to do is just multiply this equation by 3. That's the easiest way of all. See, I multiplied it by 3. If I multiply by 3, I'm going to get a 6x minus 12, which I think is going to be off my paper, but I'll try and guesstimate. -12 is like way down here. I'll just say that's -12, okay? And then up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1. Up 6 over 1, up 6 over 1, so it's going to be something like this. Terrible graph, forgive me, but I just want you to get the idea, okay? Okay, yes.
What is X representing?
Fx is like y, okay?
Yeah,
So if you think y equals, and you're asking a great question, and I'll probably stop. I don't need to do this one right now. I can actually stop it, and I want to answer that question real quick, okay?